In January 1974, the idea for starting a campus radio station originated in a Photographic Society meeting. Last Monday, IC Radio officially received their test and development licence from the Home Office. This was reported in yesterday's Guardian. With me in the studio is one of the station's founders, John Allen. John, what does this test and development licence enable you to do?
Well, we can set up our transmitters to broadcast a test tone over the campus buildings. Initially, we will be setting up the system in Southside and Linstead halls. They should be set up quite soon, I think.
When will transmission start?
Well, it's difficult to say. It's, as you realise, exam season. But we should be on the air at the beginning of next term, I think, on 312 metres. If it all goes well with this test and development licence and the Home Office is satisfied, when will you start transmitting properly? Oh, that's an impossible question.
Well, attempt to answer it.
Well, it all really depends on how well we get on setting up the system. It's almost impossible to say exactly what's going to happen when we've put the cables in the buildings. The system we're using is not very widely used at present. Besides, there are problems with not knowing the earthing on Southside or Linstead. So it's just a case, really, of setting up the system and seeing what happens and then modifying the system as appropriate, really.
How much equipment do you have at present?
At present, our equipment consists of one cassette recorder and some tapes.
Presumably you're going to get some more. What will you be buying?
Yes, well, obviously we've got to be buying a transmitter and cables. That's our big expenditure at the moment, although we have just ordered a Revox tape recorder, which we should have fairly soon. But we can't set up the studio until we have a full licence, which is only fair. People aren't prepared to give us the money to set up a studio whilst we haven't got a licence. I
believe one of the stumbling blocks in your original application for a licence was the problem of unwanted radiation. How did you overcome this?
I'm not really sure we have overcome it. I think more than having overcome it, we've managed to convince the Home Office that it's possible. The original system, if I can go into a bit of history, was for an induction loop aerial system around the college. This is used at quite a lot of universities. The Home Office thought that this was going to fall off rather slowly and not be very good. So they suggested we use a leaky feeder system, and then even then they weren't satisfied with our system. We then modified the system again and had an engineer come from there to have a look round, in the process of which we not only managed to convince him that it was possible, but to get him to think there were no great technical problems.
Finally, in setting up these tests, will you need any helpers?
Oh, yes, hundreds. Now, if anybody is interested, we'd very much appreciate some help if you want to crawl around the heating tunnels around Southside and Linstead, or if you're any good at building transmitters. It is going to need a lot of people, and it's going to need a lot of care setting up as well. If we set things up wrong at this stage, it could be very expensive to put it right if it doesn't fit the requirements of the licence.
If anybody wants to help, who do they contact?
Well, they can contact myself through the union office, or if they contact one of our technical managers, probably the best one, Mike Elgie in Elec 3.
Well, John Allen, every success with your test licence, and thank you very much for coming to talk to us.
Thank you very much, Mark.